try our best. Oh, it's dark. There it is. And we got words on the screen, so feel free to sing along. You guys gonna sing a little bit with us? Are you gonna sing a little bit with us? You don't have to sing good. You just gotta sing. All right, come on. All right, check this out. Every day I've been feeling the pressure. I always gotta know the plan. It's the way that I've tried to shoulder. I thought I could, but I can't. And I'm so tired from chasing dreams. And I am wired to let you leave. Marilyn, get your hands up. You're changing my heart. Leadership to last 10 lifetimes. Everybody talking about leaders. Everybody talking about servant leaders. You know what the problem with that is? Jesus never talked about leaders. He didn't say you got to worry about whether other people think you're a leader. He just said, come and follow me. The rest will take care of itself. So what if we just, for tonight, we just laid aside all that worry about what kind of legacy we're leading and what kind of leadership skills we have. And what if we just say, you know what? All I got to worry about is serving. That's it. Imagine a servanthood conference. Probably wouldn't sell as many tickets, huh? Somehow service doesn't appeal to the old ego, you know what I mean? But funny enough, Jesus said, the first shall be last, the last shall be first. You get your mind right. Get your mind off yourself and get it on to me. Because you weren't made to be thinking about yourself anyway. You ain't going to get free from looking at your own Instagram feed. You know what I'm saying? We were made for mountains, not mirrors. Say mountains, not mirrors. Yeah, so tonight, that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to get our gaze up off ourselves just for a couple minutes. How you guys feel about that? Now, this is usually the part of the show where I ask everybody to start jumping and go absolutely buck wild. But this is like an acoustic show, so I don't know if you guys can handle that sort of thing. How about this? Everybody get a hand up in the air like this. That sounds good, Jeff. Now everybody swing it like this. Come on. There's a girl in the corner. She's got tears on her eyes. It's from the places she's wandered, and maybe that shame she can't hide. She said, how did I get here? Hey, I'm not who I once was. Yeah, and I'm crippled by that fear that I've fallen too far to love. But don't you know what has been done for you? Don't you know who you are? Yo, wipe that past away, come on. You are more than choices that you made. You are more than the sum of your past mistakes. You are more than the problems you created. You've been remade. Well, she tries to believe that. That she's been given new life. But you know, she can't shake this feeling. You know, maybe that's not true tonight. Oh, I know. She knows all the answers. She's rehearsed all the lines. And so she tries to do better. Then she's too weak to try. Oh, don't you know who you are? You are more than the choices that you made. You are more than the sum of the past mistakes. You are more than the problems you created. You've been remade. You are more than the choices that you made. You are more than the sum of the past mistakes. You are more than the problems you created. You've been remade. This is why. This is not about what you've done, what's been done for you. This is not about where you've been, your broken dreams you tell. This is not about what you feel, would it better to forgive you? Would it better to all it took to make you new. Don't you know that you are new? Let's sing this to ourselves. You are more than the choices that you made. You are more than the sum of your past mistakes. You are more than the problems that you created. You've been remade. Come on. You are more than the choices that you made. You are more than the sum of your past mistakes. You are more than the problems you create. You've been remade. So let me see redemption. Let me know the struggle. You can How many of you guys ever felt the words of that song before, right? Last year we were getting off the stage after a show, and we walked onto the bus, and we looked at our cell phones, and all our cell phones had lit up with all these text messages. And everyone was asking the same question. All our friends and family said, "Are you watching 2020 right now?" And we said, "Of course we're not watching 2020 right now." They're like, "You need to turn on 2020 right now." And we turned on Diane Sawyer right there on major network television. They were doing a special on women in prison. And wouldn't you know it, there's a women's prison in Tennessee where the choir director had taught this choir of inmates the words to this song. And there they were, 30 women singing these words. And it just, there's nothing I could want more for our music than to be sung by the people who need their lives mended. You know, I feel like so often, so much of our worship music, it's for when everything's going great. God, you're amazing. God, you're beautiful. Everything's always been wonderful my entire life. And you know what? That's okay, because if you look in the Psalms, they're segmented into 3 different kinds of psalms. There's psalms of praise when everything's going great. And then there's psalms of thanksgiving where everything wasn't going great, but now it is. And so we want to give him thanks for what he just did, right? But you know what the largest category of psalms is in the scripture? It's not the songs of praise. It's not the songs of thanksgiving. It's the songs of lament. It's the songs of God. It's broken. It's screwed up. The valley is dark and I don't see you. And even Jesus on the cross offered up a psalm of lament. Even our Savior knows what it is to go through the valley. He said, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And all that to say, tonight, what we're going to do, we're going to sing some psalms of praise. So all y'all who are just like ready to throw some unicorns and butterflies in the air, we got you covered, okay? And we're also going to sing some songs of thanksgiving. To say, God, my life was horrible, but you came through. I was broken, and you mended me. I had mistakes, and you washed them away. I went through the valley, and now you brought me to the mountain, and we're going to give him thanks, too. But not only are we going to rejoice with those who rejoice tonight, we're also going to weep with those who weep. And we're going to acknowledge what the scriptures are not afraid to acknowledge, and that is sometimes life is hard. And sometimes life is broken, and sometimes we're waiting to see the sunrise. So come on. What you got? Praise, thanksgiving, lament, bring it all. You have a safe place here tonight, okay? And I want to make sure you know that, because there's a time how many of you guys have been to a 10th Avenue North concert before? Okay, listen. So y'all know this part because I do this at every show, and I wanted to explain that. Because sometimes when I ask people to do this, they get this really terrified look on their face like they're about to get hit by a car. And that is, I want everyone to lift your hands and worship on the count of 3. Not yet on the count of 3. And I know some of y'all, the praise people, you're like, yeah, here we go. And the lament people are like, now I ain't gonna do this. But listen, so those of you that maybe you've never done this and you think, I am not spiritual enough to do that, that is not my bag, I don't know how to do that. I start thinking about whether or not I put deodorant on. There's all kinds of things I don't know. Listen, Psalm 134 says, lift your hands to the sanctuary. It doesn't say, if you're really feeling it, lift your hands. It just says, lift them. And here's the deal. When my little girls need their daddy to pick them up, what posture do they take? And when I think of that, I go, okay, I can always do that. Because there's never been a moment where I didn't need to be held by my father. Okay? Not once. And so it is for us tonight. There isn't a person here who doesn't need him. And in fact, the only thing that's going to keep you from him is thinking you don't need him. Even before the day begins. Come about to jump into this next song, but I gotta say one thing. Never forget how dangerous that prayer is. Y'all say, what you mean dangerous? You realize it is a dangerous thing to ask God to redeem you. You want to know why? Because as soon as you say, God, redeem me, you're acknowledging the fact that you don't deserve to be redeemed. And the second you acknowledge you don't deserve to be redeemed means you're not off the hook anymore. Now, when you pray to be redeemed, you also have to pray for God to redeem the people you're mad at. Oh no, he didn't. Don't go stepping on my grudges, man. I like the way those feel, because I get to feel better than somebody. But as soon as you reach your hands out to receive grace, you ruin your chances of looking down on anyone forever.
Hallelujah.
The second you look your eyes up to Jesus, you say, all right, I'm not allowed to look down at anyone else anymore because my eyes are too busy looking up to my Savior, to my rescuer, to my source of grace. And here's the deal. I believe if you want to know how much you understand the gospel, ask yourself one question. How much do I forgive? Because the exact extent to which you believe you've been forgiven, that is the exact extent to which you will forgive. And we get lots of practice because we're in a band together. And I know you all came in and you saw that bus and you said, oh, they fancy. They real fancy. They up in that bus, living this rock star life. Let me explain something. Give church, y'all. Because there's just something about singing about mercy. It's like I gotta remind my heart with my body, right? I gotta remind my heart that mercy doesn't dig in its heels. It doesn't say, you better come crawl to me and apologize. That's not the way mercy works. You see, grace takes the first step, right? It makes the first move. It said, you ain't gotta apologize to me. I'm gonna bring grace to you. I'm gonna get the raw end of the deal. I'm gonna let that grudge slide off my shoulder. Go ahead and dig the shit. Just slide right off your shoulder. Maybe you're still coming up with excuses. You know, you're still angry. Why do we think that hate's gonna change them? We're up in arms over wars that don't need to be. The problem is they don't live it on them. We love it up, but don't run on them. Say, we think things will apologize. We need to stop. Truth be told, it doesn't matter if it's sorry or not. Freedom comes always the way to do the matter. Mercy is for the sin. Father, won't you forgive them? They don't know what they can do. Give me grace to forgive them. I feel like the one. I feel like being losing. Give me grace to forgive them. I feel like the one. I feel like I've been losing. I know that's hard. Nobody said it was gonna be easy. In fact, in order to live, we gotta die. In order to be resurrected, we gotta go through the valley. There's a wreckage, there's a fire, there's a weakness in my love, there's hunger I can't control. Lord, I fall to and I fall down and I hold on to the chains you broke when you came. Saved my soul. You saved my soul. Well, this is the good news right here. Hallelujah, we are free. are free indeed. Are you free? Are you living like you're free? Or are you picking your chains back up? Are you holding on to the things he set you free from? Let me remind you something. Hallelujah, death is overcome. We are breathing. Hallelujah, our strong hearts become flesh that's beating. Hallelujah, chains have been undone. Come on. We are singing. Hallelujah, the fire has begun. Tell me, can you feel it? Hallelujah, death is overcome. Yes, it is. We are breathing. Y'all sing it, come on. Flesh that's beating. Say how. We are singing. Hallelujah, the fire has begun. Tell me, can you feel it? Hallelujah. I know this was supposed to be an acoustic set. I keep saying that. See, we have a fall tour date on October 20th in Vienna, Virginia at McLean Bible Church. And they were so gracious to let us go ahead and book this show because we're on our way to New Hampshire. So we had to drive all the way to New Hampshire from Ohio. And they said, okay, it's cool. Just as long as you're going to have a show so close, just tell all the people to also come to the show in Vienna. So you guys all going to come October 28th. It's going to be awesome. And we'll have electric guitars. They said, you can do this show in Maryland, but you can't have any electric guitars. We said, okay, we'll do it. I didn't say it wasn't going to be rowdy, though. See, I grew up a very excitable person. My mom and dad are here. They can vouch for that. Where are you, mom and dad? Where are you guys? I can't see you. Where are you? My mom's pretty short. Oh, she's back there. All right. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
And my mom tells a story. This is just one little example of how excitable I can get. We were in Disney World when I was 4 years old. She had me on a leash. And she said, a kid walked by that looked just like me. Only it wasn't me. It was another kid that I had taken the leash off and put on that other kid. And she was like dragging some other kid through the park. So when I see that, I'm like, I'm going to do it, you know? So, listen. I keep asking myself, this is supposed to be an acoustic show. I just don't think we should get too rowdy. But the problem is, I'm a nerd. And I've been reading ancient Hebrew lately. And I came across this word in the ancient Hebrew. The word for rejoice. Remember I was telling you about the songs, about praise, thanksgiving, and lament? Well, there's this word that shows up over and over in the songs, the word rejoice. And I go, I know what rejoice is. I do it every night. I didn't know what rejoice is because the word in Hebrew, G-I-Y-I, which we translate as rejoice, is actually better translated. Are you ready for this? I said, are you ready for this word?
Yes!
The word we see in the songs to rejoice is actually translated to spin around under the influence of violent emotion. Now, last time we played in Maryland, there was a group of Coptic Egyptians that were here, and that's the only group I've ever seen who actually knows how to do this, because they are wild, and I love it when they show up. But most of the rest of us, we're like, that can't be literal. That's just figurative. I'm spinning around in my heart, can't you see by my excited face? I don't know if y'all know this. My pastor used to say this. He goes, are you excited about Jesus? And the whole church would go, yeah. He goes, you need to let your heart inform your face. You got a problem with dancing, you take it up with Psalm 150. I don't know how to tell you anything. in any other way. Here we go. So this is what I want to do. I know this is an acoustic show, but best you can, I'm going to count to 3, and I want you to spin around under the influence of violent emotion. I can see you conferring with one another. You're like, let's research this word a little bit more. How do we know this is a trustworthy source? Look at this guy, he's insane. I am a little crazy, aren't I, Jay? Let's just warm it up. How many of y'all been to a football game? How many of y'all been to a baseball game? How many of y'all been to a soccer match? I have seen people absolutely lose their mind for a bunch of dudes hitting around a little ball. If we can get that excited for a bunch of men in tights hitting each other, certainly we can make some noise for the King of the Universe setting us free. All right, here we go. Because that's what we're trying to do. So everybody, let's warm up a little more. Take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. I just want to praise you. I just want to praise you. Oh yeah. Take the shackles off my feet. So we're gonna crank it to 11, okay? So whatever your like physical worship mode is, I want you to take that. I want you to crank it all the way up as high as you go, okay? For some of you, that's gonna go like from here to here. That's okay. You just crank yourself. Say, here we go, self, Holy Spirit. You just let my body do something that's gonna praise the Lord, okay? On one. Some of you are like, I don't understand the instructions. It just means get around, get booty, just dance, just do something. Everybody, here we go. Come on. God. He's a Trinity. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, which means we are made in the image of a perfect relationship. Which means we never reflect who God is better than when we're in relationship with Him and we're in relationship with each other.
Amen.
I have a dream that one day the church will not be known for who they're against, but who they're for. I have a dream that one day we will not be known as a people who exclude, but a people who include. Paul said you've been given the ministry of reconciliation. You know what that means, right? This is a big old Bible word. It means you're here to forgive people and let them know they're forgiven. I don't know what kind of occupation you got, but your job is to forgive. Your job is the forgiveness business, to spread it around like it's the one thing this earth can't go on without. That's what we got that this world doesn't got. That's what we get to give them. We get to give them grace because we've been given grace. Say to the person next to you, say, I'm for you. I'm not against you. Say, let's break down the dividing walls of hostility together. I didn't say it was going to be easy, did I? Let's sing this together, come on. Jump over, rain or fire. Let's reach out to something high. Ain't no life beside each other. We are not alone. Trouble, rain or fire. Let's reach out to something high. Eyes open to one another. We are not alone. The trouble, rain or fire. Let's reach out to something higher. Ain't no life beside each other. We are not alone. The trouble, rain or fire. Let's reach out to something higher. Eyes open to one another. We are not alone. No man is following Him wasn't about how much power we could get? What if it was about how much we could surrender? What if this journey following Him wasn't about how much we would accomplish? What if it was about the amount of love with which we did it? Here I am with all my intentions and all my obsessions. I wanna lay them all down in your hands. Only your love is vital, and though I'm not entitled, still you call me your child. God, you don't need me, somehow you want me. Oh, how you love me, somehow that frees me to take my hands off of my life and the way it should go. Somehow you want me. The King of Heaven wants me. This world has lost its grip on me. You want me. Help me sing. Somehow you want me. The King of Heaven wants me. So this world has lost its grip on me. Ruben, our bass player, can you just give everybody a little wave? Ruben is getting married next month. So we're going to spend the rest of the concert getting marital advice that we can give him. He doesn't want that. And Spencer, before you go, just wave to everybody, Spencer. Some of you guys, if you've seen us before, you're like, you're not Jason, because our drummer Jason is not here. Our drummer Jason just had his 4th baby. His wife just had their 4th baby. He's not some kind of medical marvel. His wife had their 4th child. So Spencer's been filling in. Has Spencer been doing an amazing job? Denny's going to stick out here with me for a second. And I need to tell you that I'm so honored to be a part of this band. Our band's been around for 17 years now. I heard somebody on the bus go, oh my goodness, that's disgusting. You're so old. Our culture only reveres youth and naivety. I don't like age and wisdom. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Sort of. Our band's been around for 17 years, and we've been just around the country, and it's been an amazing ride. And that last song, I wrote it a year and a half ago because we were about to break up.
Oh, wow.
Oh no! Because at the end of the day, we're not going to do this forever. And no, it's okay. Because whatever God gives you to do, with whatever passion He's wired you to do it with, because He's wired you uniquely, right? He knit you together in your mother's womb. And I know that because you're weird. Right? There's times in the movie theater where you're the only person who laughs. Right? I hate when that happens. It's like, bah! It's like just dead silent. I'm the only one laughing. You know, you're the only one who likes a certain color. You're the only one who likes that ice cream flavor. You're the only one, and that's just a little glimpse into the fact that God's uniquely wired you to do amazing things. And Frederick Buechner said, your calling is where your great passions and your deep gladness, where those things meet the world's great needs. God's knit you together and He's wired you so that you can take these passions that He's wired you with, and you don't just live for yourself, la vie bohème, but you take them and you actually meet the world's needs with your deep gladness. That's what I'm doing with this guitar. I'm trying to meet the world's needs with this thing I love to do. But our whole last record was about that. It was called Cathedrals, and it was this idea that we are the presence, we are the cathedrals of God. The cathedrals aren't a building. We're His temple, right? And Martin Luther said the milkmaid has just as holy of a calling as the clergy. In other words, and all the moms in the house said, that's right, you know, because you can be a housewife and have just as holy of a calling as a preacher preaching to 10,000. You know why? Because God doesn't need either of you. This is a song I wrote when I was more concerned with God's plan than God's presence. I know I need you. I need to love you, Lord. I'd love to see you, but it's been so long. I long to feel you. I feel this need for you. I need to hear you. Hey, is that so wrong? Oh, 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 oh. Y'all help me sing that. Oh, 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 oh. a song that I'd written and put my guitar down and I went for a run. Because I wasn't getting the answer I wanted. That's really all I wanted. I was trying to figure out if I was supposed to marry my girlfriend. That's not something you want to guess at, right? And I just felt like God wasn't giving me the old clear yes or no. It was just like one big fat maybe. I said, God, am I supposed to marry this girl, yes or no? And I got pretty emotional, right? Because I was just like, God, I don't know, man. What if I know she loves you and I know she's beautiful and I know we share a lot of the same goals and interests and all that, but man, what if she's lying to me and we get 5 days into the honeymoon and she takes the mask off and she's actually some kind of like she-wolf and she's like, and I'm like, ah! I was crying too, crying profusely, which is why I didn't end up writing a chorus. That's why the chorus ended up being, oh, 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 oh. I'm not kidding, that's really why that's the chorus. Let's all sing it like we're crying, come on. See, it just rolls right off the tongue, it's perfect, just keep going. And so I put my guitar down and went running through the rain. It was raining outside, which also didn't add to my melancholy feeling. I was running for about a mile. I lived in South Florida at the time, and I started to run over this bridge, over the intercoastal, and all of a sudden the rain that had been raining all day had just stopped, and the clouds parted, and I felt like I heard God say something. What's that? What? What are you saying?
Unicorns. Rainbows and butterflies. Rainbows and butterflies.
Rainbows and butterflies. This is my story. Can you please hold your tongue? This isn't a choose your own adventure, you know. This is just adding to the story. And then a unicorn came out of the sky. This is a true story, true story. So I said, what? And God said, Mike. And that was it. That was all he said. It was just mine. Like, yeah, what else? And then he did this really annoying thing. I don't know if God does this to you, but he totally avoided my question. I said, am I supposed to marry the girl? And he said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. No, you must have not understood. Am I supposed to marry the girl, yes or no? I work all things together for good for those who are called according to my good purpose. That's not what I wanted. And then more and more and more promises just started flooding my mind, one after another, after another, after another. And I realized something. God didn't want to give me a vision. He wanted to give me the opportunity to use my faith. He didn't want to give me a plan. He wanted to teach me how to trust. He didn't want to give me a drawn-out map. He wanted to give me himself. And he knew that if I just got the answer I was looking for, I would just run off and just go for it without him. After all, there's plenty of guys who begged God for a yes or no of who they're supposed to marry, and then they stop saying yes to how they're supposed to love that woman every day after. You see, I don't want a yes or no from God. I want God to have a perpetual yes from me. Isn't that where all the trouble starts anyway? It's just somewhere deep down we say, no. And God saying, man, if you would just let me love you, if you would just trust that I will work all these things together for good, man, you'd walk a little lighter, you'd run a little freer, and you'd find that she's not a she-wolf. She's pretty amazing. I didn't say it was going to be easy, but now me and that girl are married. We're about to have our 4th kid too. What's up? So next time you're looking for that answer, why don't you focus on his presence and then see what he says. I hear you say my love is over, it's underneath, it's inside, it's in between. The times you doubt me and when you can't feel, the times that you question, is this for real? The times you're broken, the times that you meant, the times you hate me and the times that you've been. Oh, my love is over, it's underneath, it's inside, it's in between. The times you're healing, when your heart breaks, the times that you feel like you're falling from grace, the times you're hurting, and when you can't kneel, the times that you question, is this for real? The times of confusion and chaos and pain, I'm there in your sorrow, under the weight of your shame. I'm there in your heartache, there through the storm. My love, I will keep you by my power alone. I don't care where you've fallen or where you have been, I'll never forsake you. My love never ends, it never ends. No, no. Isaiah 43, which is just the passage I happened to turn to as we were songwriting this song, because she was starting chemo the next week. We said, we got to write her a song right now. And so I opened up my Bible and I was like, I love this passage. It's Isaiah 43, and it says, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you walk through the waters, they won't overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, it will not consume you. I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel. I will be with you in them. I wish it didn't say that, right? I wish it didn't say when you go through the fire. I wish it said when you go around the fire. I wish it didn't say when you go through the water. I wish it said when you walk on top of the water. But it doesn't say that. It says when you go through them, you're going to experience something better than avoiding pain. You're going to experience my presence in the midst of pain. And I can tell you this from my own life, that any pain or any tragedy I've had to walk through, when I have experienced the presence of God, I can only utter this one phrase: it was worth it. And I think one day when we're standing face to face to Him, we'll say that very thing. It was worth it. The song's called I Have This Hope. This great unknown, questions come and questions go. Was there purpose for the pain? Did I cry these tears in vain? I don't want to live in fear. I want to trust that you are near. Trust your grace can be seen both triumph and tragedy. I had this hope in the depth of my soul. But sometimes my faith feels thin, like this night will never end. Will you catch every tear, or will you just leave me here? Oh, but I have this hope in the depth of my soul. In the flood or the fire, you're with me and you won't let go. Come on. I have this hope in the depth of my soul. In the flood or the fire, you're with me and you won't let go. So, whatever happens, I will not be afraid. No, 'cause you are closer than this breath that I take. Yes, you are God. You calm the storm when I hear you call my name. You're always calling our names, God. I still believe that one day I'll see your face. I have this hope in the depth of my soul. In the flood or the fire, you're with me. I have this hope in the depth of my soul. In the flood or the fire, you're with me and you won't let go. In the flood of the fire, in the flood or the fire, you're with me and you won't let go. In the flood or the fire, you're with me and you won't let go. So why are you striving these days? Why are you trying to earn grace? Tell me, why are you crying? Let me lift up your face. Just don't turn away. Why are you looking for love? Are you still searching as if I'm not enough? Where will you go, child? Tell me, where will you run? Where will you run? 'Cause I'll be by your side wherever you fall in the dead of night. Whenever you call it, don't fight these hands that are holding you. My hands are holding you. Why don't we turn on those little flashlights on those cell phones if you got them? Come on. You look at this hand at my side, yeah. It's all of the rain. At night, drink the world's sin, so I can carry you in and give you life. I wanna give you life. I'll be by your side wherever you every tear you cry. Marilyn, can we do one more song together? Is that okay with you guys? Eyes to say, those who cry out his name, though the wind and waves obey, he's strong enough to save you. Break open skies to say, those who cry out his name, though the wind and waves obey, he's strong We're so glad you kept clapping. And just for that, we're not going to do one more song, we're going to do two more songs.
Mercy, see, she cried.
guys have been amazing. Can you give yourselves an amazing round of applause? I want to thank Perry Hall Family Worship Center for letting us come in here and do this tonight. And we'll see you on October 20th in Bible Church. Thank you guys so much, man. Thanks for letting us do what we do. Thanks for listening to the words. Thanks for all your stories, and thanks for spending your Wednesday night with us. You know, and I pray that what we set out at the beginning to do happened. That those of you who needed to praise, you praise. That those of you who needed to lament, you lament. But hopefully, those of you, maybe you came in to lament, maybe you'll walk out ready to give some thanks. Amen. So may we leave here to go to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim good news to the poor, to set the captives free. Amen. Your love is here.